Welcome inside the vault on a Thursday. We do have breaking NFL news, Sarah, from the wide receiver position. We'll begin there quickly right off the top regarding DJ Moore and his eventual not return to Buffalo, but he is going to Buffalo. Big trade news post NFL Combine and some business being done between Chicago and Buffalo. We also have a conversation to have, I'd say, about Stefon Diggs. He is now a free agent, newly released or soon to be by the New England Patriots. He's a polarizing player, and he has been named to the Ravens as a potential landing spot for him. All that and more is what we have coming up today, including could the Ravens potentially actually let Keaton Mitchell slip through their fingers in the coming days ahead? Appreciate you guys for being with us on this Thursday. It's the 5th of March here in 26, less than a week away from free agency beginning and the 2026 new league year commencing as well. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined alongside my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison. If you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this offseason. And Sarah, Josh Allen has his number one wide receiver. The Bears are working to finalize a trade that would send DJ Moore to Buffalo. Schefter says that compensation is still being discussed. The trade cannot be processed until the new league year begins, which is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. But both sides are pushing to make it happen. They've been in the market and looking for a number one wide receiver, really, since they let Stefon Diggs walk out of their building, which is an ironic start to the show here. But that's what's happening. So Buffalo gets him, and Chicago is going to roll elsewhere. His 2025 role was reduced as a Bear. And while you should also note, too, that this takes Buffalo out of the A.J. Brown sweepstakes that they were reportedly in. So he reunites with Joe Brady. They had a lot of success together, at least offensively, with his production back in 2020 and 21. Joe Brady was the offensive coordinator there. He's now the head coach of the Bills. And that's where we begin today's show.
Ooh, pieces are starting to move. This is what I like. These trades have to get done right before the legal tampering period. People need to know how much money they have to spend. So DJ Moore in Buffalo. And it is funny because to your point, when Stefon Diggs was released yesterday, many people were speculating on whether he could go back to Buffalo. But Tom Pelissero was the one with the news first, saying that the Patriots did inform him that they'll release him. That's what's kind of crazy is that I don't even think Stefon Diggs saw this coming. I think this surprised a few people because he did play well for the Patriots on up to a Super Bowl run last year. And he had been asked at the Super Bowl, like if he planned on playing next year. And he almost took like an offensive that anybody would ask. And he said back to the reporter, he's like, I'm under contract, right? Like he's like, you got to do your research. Well, he's not under contract anymore. So now he is a free agent. And again, Bobby, he did have, let me just pull it up here. He had a good season last year. He led the Patriots with 85 receptions. He's with a young quarterback, obviously, was a good resource for him. 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns, an average of 3.9 yards. The Ravens are very familiar with him. Ravens fans are very familiar with him because he obviously played in Maryland in college. And over his very long and illustrious career, he has been mostly available. In 2024, that's the only year that he was really knocked out for any sort of significant amount of time due to injury. I mean, look at this, going back all the way to 2015, 16, 17, 18. I mean, other than 2024, the least amount of games he's played in is 14 over this long career. So he's always available. He peaked in 2020 when he had 1,500 yards again with Josh Allen. But he's been above 1,000 yards basically since 2018, minus the year he was injured. So he's been available, he's been steady, and he's been consistent. And you want to know what else he is? he's exactly the prototypical veteran receiver that the Ravens usually target. And I know Ravens fans want the Ravens to stop doing this. But until they do stop, this is their MO. And there were jokes on it, even from a Philadelphia Eagles account making the joke, saying it's time for the Stefon Diggs Ravens era, putting up a bunch of photos of wide receivers that were amazing in their prime, and the Ravens come along and try to squeeze a little bit more juice out of their careers. The latest was Hopkins. Before that, OBJ, Jackson, Des Bryant. We can go back to Steve Smith, although that one was a little bit more successful. And so, Bobby, I'm not saying that the Ravens absolutely should go get Stefon Diggs. What I'm saying is the Ravens' history says he's the exact type of receiver that they would target on the open market.
That's factual.
Yeah.
That's not a take. That's not an opinion. That's just factual. So it would fit the billing, certainly based on their organizational history at that position. And I think, as you've noted, he does have good football left, as he showed this year. It was not in the Super Bowl, but what went right offensively for New England in the Super Bowl? Not much. Not much at all. And so he was limited, as was the entire offensive operation by Seattle, by Mike McDonald's expertise in that Super Bowl. The year itself was promising, knowing that they gave him a 3-year deal. Just a year ago, right around a year ago, they gave him a 3-year, $69 million contract. So after he posts what he does in 25, if you're a Patriots fan, before the legal stuff came up, you're thinking, man, he's going to be at Drake May's disposal here for the foreseeable future, or we're going to run it back and try and get back to the game, get back to the Super Bowl. But then came a difficult end of the season for sure off the field. And that's a part of the story. He's a polarizing player, and he pleaded not guilty after being accused of choking his personal chef. I remember covering this, Sarah, in late December. We did. And it was during an argument in early December. He was ordered to not have contact with his accuser, and a pretrial hearing was set for April 1st. The arraignment itself, I remember we talked about it, it was delayed until after the Super Bowl. So he was able to play cleanly, and these are allegations, but he was able to play no problem all throughout the playoffs, all the way into the Super Bowl, and now he doesn't have a team. Question becomes, will there be any disciplinary action? And so not only is the component of this exercise related to what he has left to give on the field, but will there be any availability issues if a team is to sign him in the weeks ahead for 2026? We don't have answers to those questions, but you better believe those are pertinent if you are willing to sign him. So that's what he's dealing with right now. It is something that also what was certainly something on social media that garnered a ton of it. Not sure if it was a distraction or not for New England, but his relationship that no longer is intact, according to social media, with Cardi B was a big distraction there, at least a talking point on social media. No idea what that did for the operation itself in New England. But that's what you're signing up for with Stefon Diggs. Productivity, somebody that's still playing at a high level, but there is some uncertainty in terms of getting this legal issue resolved, and that would obviously potentially inhibit the beginning of his 2026 season, wherever he ends up.
Well, and it is interesting. People are speculating why Stefon Diggs was released because, like I said, like Stefon himself at the Super Bowl, when he was asked if he was going to be playing, in the NFL or, even with the Patriots, he's like, yeah, I'm under contract. Do your research. So I don't know that he expected this. And so that's why, and because he had a 1,000-yard season, people are like, why? Like, why'd you just take away Drake May's biggest volume receiver? And so what you've brought up here, which I know very little about, is what people are wondering, could it be something with this? Do they know a decision's going to come down in the courts, or is it have something to do with maybe the Patriots are interested in A.J. Brown, a reunion between Mike Vrabel and A.J. Brown. and they're like, hey, we're going to go get AJ and we're going to move on from Stefon Diggs. I know AJ, we've been talking about whether the Ravens would make a move like that, but Patriots is also a very probably more talked about as a potential destination for him. Or is it both? Is it both? Like they suspect something's coming up and they want AJ, or are they getting out ahead of things? He's going to be 33. You try to like cut a guy 1 year too soon rather than too late. Haven't got the slightest clue. I will say this, Bobby. I mean, this obviously is a 4-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro. A reunion in Baltimore. I'm sure after playing for the Terps, he'd be more than open to that. But honestly, we all agree that the number one objective for this offseason is to rebuild the trenches. That's number one. That's where people want draft resources to go. That's where people want cap resources to go. And if that's where you want the majority of your money to go, then again, if you want to augment this wide receiver room with a veteran, which is what they've been doing, even though Zay Flowers becomes more of a veteran every single day. But if they want one of those longtime veterans like they keep doing, and they want him on the cheap because they want to put so much money in the trenches, and they want a chain mover, which is what in part D-Hop did, right? On third or fourth downs. Well, in the beginning of the year, it was like, hey, go to D-Hop. Somehow he disappeared. I don't know what happened there, Todd Monken. But he disappeared. And so again, who knows how Declan Doyle would use, 13, 3 wide receiver sets, all that kind of stuff. And so Stefon Diggs, honestly, when you look at the priorities of the offseason, if you want to augment the wide receiver room with a veteran and you want to spend most of your money on the trenches, Stefon Diggs fits the profile to a T.
From a football perspective, no question about it.
I don't know about the court stuff. I don't know about any of that. So I'm talking pure football.
Yeah, no. And how can you disagree with that? Now look, he wants the football. Every wide receiver, every pass catcher wants the football. Yes. And he has made no mistake, has made no shortage of commentary and vocals to explain that sentiment over the years. Yeah. And that led to a rather polarizing exit from Buffalo. That led to a media circus between he and Josh Allen. He's a polarizing player, but he's productive. And so the Ravens are going to have to figure out whether or not that balances out in their mind. And if indeed he is cleared legally and will be ready to go week 1, does that make sense for them in their operation in 26?
And something tells me that he won't be like D-Hop, who just keeps it quiet. When he did interviews after the season, he's like, yeah, of course I wanted the ball. Of course I wanted it. He's like, but what am I going to do? Like kick and scream? I don't know that he's got he'll have the same approach as D-Hop.
I can't imagine that's the case.
But I don't mind that kind of stuff. As long as it's not the extreme of Deontay Johnson. Like, I don't want that extreme, but I don't mind receivers that are calling for the ball. I don't mind it at all.
You want that. You want a level of that.
Yeah.
Bateman over the years has given you a level of that. Bateman and Diggs being
Bateman gives up though. Bateman seems to give up when he's frustrated. Like he pulls up on those routes and stuff. He's an
emotional personality.
Yeah.
Those two in the same wide receiver room might give me a little pause. Perhaps Bateman is in the trade cards. There's been a lot of smoke around that. Nothing substantial yet.
Yeah.
That would make for an interesting dynamic in that wide receiver room based on personality, solely based on personality. But I think more than anything else, Sarah, as that slide suggested, a little while ago, if you just follow the historical trend of the organization, this would fit that trend. And whether or not the Ravens want to continue that trend remains to be seen.
Yeah, you got a new coaching staff, all of that. But this trend has
transcended
whoever the offensive coordinator is. Exactly. It hasn't mattered.
But
it has also transcended GMs.
Yeah, it has.
Both Eric and Ozzie have done this. Now, Eric takes more chances in the first round on a wide receiver, but when it comes to signing veteran receivers, both Ozzie and Eric did it the same way.
But here we are to put a bow on all of this, right? With another top quarterback in the league getting a number one wide receiver, or at least that's the hope that Buffalo is putting in acquiring DJ Moore. And here's Josh's room now in part, or some of the playmakers on offense that he has. James Cook, DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, to name a few. So all due respect to Zay Flowers, could very well end up getting that lucrative deal that the Ravens have not given to a homegrown wide receiver throughout their time, at least not potentially what Zay is projected to make over the next year or so. What's the Ravens' move? What's their next move? How will they counter? How are they going to go about this offseason? And maybe, just maybe, countering won't happen, and instead they'll rebuild that offensive line like you've said, because Lamar's proven that without a supporting cast that doesn't have a true number one wide receiver, he still has the ability to win you games and win you consistent games over 65% of the time in which he starts.
Bills also, however, need to do what the Ravens need to do. They're going to have to build the interior of their offensive line because they're starting center and they're starting guard, both of which are near the top of the free agent market at their positions, are scheduled to become free agents.
Yep.
But Bobby, the chat is going off about Stefon Diggs.
Let's get an update on the poll.
There's lots of opinions on that. Yeah, tell us what's the poll ask?
Would you be open to signing Stefon Diggs in Baltimore? And as we approach 400 votes, 69% of them say no.
Woo.
31% say yes.
It's hard to get 70% of people to agree on anything. That's a high percentage.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people are weighing in
when the Ravens sign Stefon. I'm just going to troll them for this.
Say that again?
I'm going to troll the chat because they're going to be so mad when EDC signs him because he really does just fit the bill. He does.
They're a lot of folks weighing in through Super Chat as well. Johan Gotti says, DJ was my pick. I'd rather draft wide receivers over signing 31 or older free agents. Ted Hurst is a sleeper 3rd or 4th round pick. Pete's with us.
Sorry, I was just looking up how old DJ Moore is. Okay, he's 28. He's 28. Okay.
Coming down off a reduced role. He had a 600-plus yard receiving season. The role was reduced in year 1 under Ben Johnson. They got heavy usage out of their tight ends. They got a young player in Luther Burden. They've got other players that are at Caleb Williams' disposal, and DJ wanted a chance to go be a number 1 somewhere. He's getting that now with the Bills.
Well, and I'm curious what the Bills, do we have the news yet on what the compensation is?
Not that I've seen.
I'm curious. Yeah, coming off a down year, like you said. Okay. Pete says, does the Ravens being quiet make you think a Lamar deal is close? Also, Buffalo traded for DJ with negative cap space, so the Ravens need to do something. I don't interpret the quiet as that they're close. I mean, they could be. But honest to goodness, Pete, nobody knows what's going on with the Lamar deal because Lamar doesn't talk about it and EDC doesn't talk about it. Like, there literally isn't a peep. Bobby, you were at the Super Bowl asking national media who usually have all this information. But that's because they know the agents and they all scratch each other's backs. Like, you were just at the combine. Nobody knew anything on the Lamar and Ravens situation. Jeff Zrebeck, Jameson Hensley, all the beat guys, no clue what's going on with that. And to be honest, I kind of respect it. Respect it. So Pete, I'd be tucking out of my you-know-what if I told you if I thought the deal was close or far away.
Tony says Lamar had an average year in 25, so he's betting on himself this year. So no new contract until next year.
But he doesn't need to bet on himself. He's going to get Steve Bisciotti already told him he's going to be the highest paid quarterback. You don't need another year to show anything.
The blueprint's there, you would think, based on what Josh did, what Dak reset the market with years ago, what Josh did last year. it's all there for the taking. You would think. I mean, isn't it as simple? It's never this simple with Lamar based on the way in which he moves. But you would think it's as simple in terms of value and where the market and what the market dictates. You'd think it's as simple as, hey, let's one up the last deal here and move on and reset this thing just as we did 3 years ago. But it hasn't proven to be that simple.
But again, I just don't even think that I feel like everybody's acting like it's been a long time. I mean, they've got the coaching staff in place. I feel like it's been a little over a month. I'm just not worried about it.
Well, it was draft weekend. It was draft week when it happened 3 years ago. The
last time it worked, yeah.
So that would match up with your calm state at this moment because we're still 6+ weeks out from that.
They have $20 million right now. They usually don't clear space until they need it. They can definitely get more. They already know how they're going to. So ideally, it'd be done before, Wednesday of next week, ideally. But they also have enough to go ahead and start making deals. Like they're going to be fine, I feel like. And that's because I feel like the deal's going to get done, like whether it's by Wednesday or beyond. I could be wrong, but I just feel calm about it because I think it's going to get done.
Tony says, are we not active because we're waiting on Lamar?
No, I don't think
Sarah
so.
just kind of got into why that's not the case at the moment based on what they have available to them and what they can do if they need more. America John R. is celebrating 9 months of channel membership with us. John?
Hey, Vault fam. Extend 8, get some cap space. Let's go Ravens.
Tony's become a VAULTRON member, new channel member. Tony, appreciate you. Welcome to the family. BME 612 says off-field issues, assault allegations, not our MO, referring to the Stefon Diggs conversation, who is going to be released, Sarah, and has been informed he will be released at the start of the new league year. He signed a 3-year, $69 million deal, or 60 plus, a year ago with the Patriots. Had a solid season with them. Row Live 95 with some Canadian currency today.
Says, we really are the rehab Ravens. No thanks. Stefon Diggs isn't coming off of an injury. He just had a 1,000-yard year.
Does he mean? Does he kind of mean rehabbing the career, resurrecting career?
But again, he just had a 1,000-yard season and he was in the Super Bowl.
His name, in this case, his name is not exactly.
I guess maybe his name. I guess.
I'm trying to understand Rose super chat. I'm just throwing. I'm throwing shite at the wall. Nightmare Kilo says no excuses. Allen is on a big contract and still getting help at wide receiver. Don't want to keep hearing the contract excuse. The Ravens just don't want to. Well, Josh is on a big contract, yeah, but because it was last year, Sarah, I think the extension came down for him. They always front load it, so they got more room right now, at least in terms of the beginning of that new deal. Yeah,
they definitely have more room. Let me look up how much Josh Allen. I feel like I looked this up the other day. Josh Allen.
Yeah, while you do that, Liv B is celebrating 10 months of channel membership with us. And Liv writes, please no to Stefon Diggs. Brings too much baggage. I'd rather keep DeAndre around and go get someone in the draft day 1 or 2. #flock. I think that's a fair word when it comes to Stefon. There is a level of baggage. This year, it happens to be potential legal baggage in the form of allegations as of right now that could potentially sideline him if there is punishment from the league in 26. But prior to this year, Sarah, the baggage had come mostly from the antics on and off the field as a football player, knowing that he is a high-level A1 personality who wants the ball and has proven in year 1 with the Patriots at 32, soon to be 33, that he's still deserving of receiving the ball, getting the ball, having a target share. What'd you find on Josh?
His cap hit here right now is about $20 million less than Lamar, but Lamar's will come down when they get it done. He's at $56 million. Lamar's at 75, so about $19 million.
They'll backload that as they always do.
Yeah.
Which puts the Bills in a better position as of now.
Yeah.
Saad Blitz is celebrating 11 months with us.
I just wanted to mention, just as we always do for everybody, these are allegations. He denies them. The court will decide it. I don't know anything more than the allegations, and that he decides it, and he denies it, and the court will decide it. The Ravens will need to look into more than that, though, obviously. Saad says, what in the D-Hop, OBJ, Deshaun Jackson, Dez Bryant, Michael Crabtree, Jalen Macklin, I remember that one, Steve Smith Sr., Anquan Bolden, TJ Hushmanzada, Derek Mason, are you talking about, man?
That's clever.
That was clever.
That's clever. Just to name a few of them.
Telling
Dre
you.
Dog's with us. And Dre Dog writes, it's sad that in almost a decade, Lamar has never had a true number one wide receiver. Sarah and Bobby, great job. Love y'all. Dre, we love you,
Dre
brother.
Dog.
Appreciate you, man.
Together.
A couple 1,000-yard receivers in Mark Andrews, in Marquise Brown, in Zay Flowers, but I don't think any of them qualify as a true bona fide NFL number one wide receiver. I think that's probably fair to say. Tony is with us.
Tony says the best defense is the best offense. Protect Lamar. I would also like to see the defense close out games to protect Lamar.
Saad Blitz says, what's up, Saad? Another one. He says, I'd be mad in the, quote, only Josh eats offense, end quote, too. And Darian's with us.
Diggs is a great player, but I think he's still on his maturity journey, where OBJ, who was also polarizing, was at a different place in his career. Yeah, what's crazy is Stefon, isn't he like 33 now? Should be.
Soon to be, I believe.
He should be getting into that
soon to be
mature part of his arc. He's 32. November, in the middle of the season, he'll turn 33. Yeah, he should be
well past it. Can I say that as a 31-year-old man who hopefully is continuing to work on emotional intelligence?
I was going to say, where would you put yourself on the maturity scale? On 0 being immature, 10 being very mature.
Well, I know I see the world differently, a lot more so than I did at 21. Now at 31, I know that. But I think it's fair to say that we're all on, he could still be on his journey at 32, but there's also a benchmark expectation that comes with early 30s and how you carry yourself. Ivory Smith, thanks, Darian. Ivory says, and Ivory's celebrating 9 months of channel membership with us. He writes, sorry. Who's paired?
I have no idea. You paused, so I went. Go for it.
Sorry. Ivory says, since the Eagles, that's what happens when I pause for a half second. Since the Eagles are cutting their tight end, trade likely in a 4th and a 5th. You can't. No, there's no trading him, Ivory. That's the problem. So he says trade likely in a 4th and a 5th for AJ, and then get Njoku and pick nothing but trenches in the draft and extend Lamar. Sounds good, but you can't. Likely's about to hit the open market as a free agent
in a couple days. Nobody's gonna trade him for him at this point.
But you're not alone in your interest for Njoku. I know that. Yeah. I know Femi has shown interest in him. He's no longer a Brown. I guess is that at the new league? Is that starting at the new league year? But he's on his way out of Cleveland, and the Ravens have a pretty darn good level of familiarity with him over the years.
Yeah.
Adam's with us.
Adam says, I'd rather sign a younger and cheaper Romeo Dobbs or Jay Jennings as number 2 wide receiver instead of drama queen like Diggs. Trade Bateman, make cap space. Thing is Bateman's cheap.
Yeah.
You're not going to get you're not going to get a veteran wide receiver any cheaper than Bateman.
You're not. And if he gives you what he gave you, and again, I know this is a gamble, but if he gives you what he gave you in 24 at the rate that the price is for 26, what a win.
Mm-hmm.
If he gives you what he gave you in 25, which was not only a lack of production, but a lack of availability, you're in trouble. Maybe trouble is not the right word, but it's kind of a moot point. It becomes a moot point.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. Work boots. I like the work boots. That's great name. The Rams traded all their draft picks, won a Super Bowl, and rebuilt their team faster than the Ravens. EDC is one of the most overrated GMs in the NFL. You got to pull up that slide that you have.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, look at what they've done.
While I get to it.
Philosophically, and when I say look at what they've done, look at what they've abandoned, been willing to abandon. I'm going to take your off the screen here, work boots. Here, perfect. So over the years, as Field Yates notes, the Rams have used their first round pick for pretty much business purposes, just solely business purposes, meaning they don't draft players for the most part. In 2017, they traded it to Tennessee. In 2018, they traded it to New England. 19 was to Atlanta. 20 was to Jacksonville. 21 was to Jacksonville. 22 and 23 were to Detroit. 24, they were like, you know what? Let's go select Jared Verse. How'd that work out for him? Pretty darn well. And in 25 and 26, as we learned this week, last year it was Atlanta. This year it's Kansas City. And Sarah, Femi he's going to join you tomorrow. I got to go up to Vermont for a wedding. I know he has some strong opinions on perhaps adopting this philosophy. Maybe not every year, but at least dipping your toes in. And maybe this is the year to do it, knowing that we know Jeff is out there for having proposed a potential pitch to go and get take a big swing at pass rusher, and maybe be willing to part ways with the capital that you have, which is the 14th overall pick. And it'd take more than that to go and get a Max Crosby probably. But this is quite the trend, and they have a Super Bowl to show for it, and a lot of success and wins and consistency since Sean McVay took over.
It's kind of crazy. It's a complete opposite philosophy of EDC and really most of the NFL, quite frankly. And what's funny is somebody had asked Grok as a response to this tweet, like, what were those picks used on? So, like, in 2017, starting back, Titans picked up Corey Davis. Patriots got Brendan Cooks. Falcons got Caleb McGarry. Jaguars, oh, that looks like a mess. So many different trades. Somehow there's Jalen Ramsey in there and Clavin Chasen. I don't know. There's a ton there.
Chason, he's the one that calls the Ravens speed skaters.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, there's a bunch. I don't understand what Grok is doing here. This list is confusing. Anyway, point being, like, so recently the Falcons grabbed James Pierce Jr., like you said, Jared Verse that they kept, and then it's just like, a lot of these are solid draft picks, but also not like world beaters. So it's been working for the Rams, man. It's crazy.
Here's the compensation from earlier on as we just cover a bunch of ground to start off today's show. Thanks to Work Boots. Get back to some more super chats here in just a second. Tom Pelissero has the compensation for today's breaking news, which again is sending DJ Moore to Buffalo. The Bills will receive, I should say, the Bills are sending a 2026 second round pick. And, okay, well, hold on a second here. The Bills are sending a 26 second rounder to Chicago for DJ Moore and a 5th round pick.
Okay, so they're swapping picks, the 2nd and 5th, plus DJ Moore.
Yep. Would you have done it?
Not for a receiver, not this year. I want the trenches. I think, listen.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to give up you wouldn't have to give up 14.
I get that. But there's trenches, obviously, on the offensive and defensive line. And while there seems to be great hope that Madubuike will be back in the fall, you still don't know how he's going to look. So you still want to build up on the defensive side. Plus, you want pass rushers. Plus, depending on what happens with Linderbaum, you may be looking for 3 new starters in the offensive line. So that's where I primarily want the Ravens' resources going. And I think cornerback is a sneaky need. And so that's where I want the resources going. I wouldn't want to give up a second for DJ. I think, and I get it. Like I do think it's, Lamar's never had this like just all pro wide receiver. That said, Zay Flowers is a 2-time Pro Bowler, and we know that it's easier to get into Pro Bowls, but like he's made it for real. Like this, it's not like alternate, like when Snoop Huntley was an alternate for a quarterback. And that's why I think that You definitely need to augment the wide receiver room. There needs work to be done. But the major resources, I think Lamar performs better with an offensive line, much better. And so that's where I want to be. That's where I want the resources to go.
I'm allowing my mind to wander. Why can't both be done?
Sure.
That's the counter to that.
Sure. I mean, they need it. Well, why not do everything? Why not sign Linderbaum? Why not go get a legit pass rusher? Why not go get insurance from Madubuike? Why not go get 2 new starting guards and a legitimate wide receiver and a better tight end than Mark Andrews? Let's do it all.
Well, you know what I mean.
That's not what you were saying, but that's like I'll see people online being like people are so upset over the Isaiah Likely situation. So upset. And they're like, oh, it's an excuse to say that he made 2 offers to Isaiah. Just get it. Like, I don't care. Just get it done. Oh, okay. And then it's like, I don't care that they offered Tyler Linderbaum a market-setting deal. Just get it done.
I know.
I don't care that, I don't care how much Lamar wants. He's absolutely worth it, and he is. Just get it done. I don't care that, you know what I mean? It just, it's always just to get it done. And it's like, yes, I hear you. If those are your 2 priorities as an offensive line and a wide receiver, fine. But then you can't also say, but also Tyler Linderbaum and also a pass rusher and also insurance for Madubuike and also a corner on the outside that will match up with Wiggins. Like, you can't just keep giving players everything they want. Who are you? What kind of backbone do you have as a GM? And that's what a lot of people say. Just get it done. You're not asking for a GM that's strategic. You're not asking for a GM to make tough decisions. You're not asking for a GM to have a backbone. You want a GM that just signs checks. That's all you want. That's what you're asking for. And if he doesn't do it, he's a bad GM. Now, there are some reasons to say he's been a bad GM. I'm ticked at what he did with the offensive line last year. And he has not drafted well at the pass rush position. So I'm not saying he's a great GM. But this other stuff is not legit in my mind.
Well, there's an alternate reality sometimes with the social media world. But what I mean, just to expand on that thought, would be when I say both, obviously in jest, right? In both. Okay. Hey, be willing to part ways with your 2nd and 5th. The pick swap. So you're parting ways with the 2nd. You're bringing in a number 1 wide receiver for legitimate complementary, a role to be played alongside Zay Flowers, which would mean you'd have to extend him, and that math would have to be worked out, obviously, within their cap department. Then you go and address the trenches, both at 14, whether that be a free-falling edge rusher like Ruben Bain or someone that's expected to potentially be there in Vanga that would shore up and be a plug-and-play starter. Would he be a plug-and-play starter opposite side Emory Jones? Maybe. Then from there, as Jeff's noted, you handle the free agent, the depth at that position in the veteran free agent guard market. From there, and again, this is where it starts to get complicated because it's a game of math and numbers. Then, okay, what are you doing in interior defensive line? What will, to your point, Nnamdi Madubuike look like if indeed he is going to be running it back and that retirement isn't in the cards, which is what I heard last week coming up in 26. And then it kind of like starts there, and that's the avalanche. So, yeah, there's a lot of frustration this time of year when it comes to DaCosta and his inactivity.
Well,
he made it pretty clear on a podcast within the last couple of weeks that this is how they do business. So why are people surprised?
Well, and it's so funny. They're like, he hasn't done anything. It's like free agency and the draft haven't started.
Well, you know what, Sarah?
Now, Linderbaum, correct. He has not signed Linderbaum. And we're waiting on an extension for Lamar. And he may lose Linderbaum. I do not give him a high grade for last offseason. It was not a good last offseason. I'm not ready to criticize him this offseason yet without free agency or the draft even happening yet. But I could give him a bad grade last offseason just based off of the guard situation alone.
The business started months ago too, as you know. When you make sure
with
that Travis Jones, when you make sure Travis Jones is here for the foreseeable future in season, that's a win. He's a top 5 nose guard. Defensive tackles, just stud, run stuffer, durable, the resiliency that he's shown with some of those lower body ankle injuries over the years, given the weight that he bears, exceptional. Great extension. Look, was Mark Andrews who everybody wanted, given the Isaiah Likely story? No, but Isaiah wasn't willing to play ball. Mark was. You go into the year ensuring that at some point before the 2025 season is over, you have a tight end under contract going into 26, which they did not entering the year, meaning everybody was in a contract year. Whether or not Charlie gets to stay remains to be seen. Whether or not they find a day 3 impact guy that's going to be able to compete with Mark Andrews and bring a level of impact that Charlie's been given over the years, or even Likely's been able to provide over the years, that remains to be seen. But you get the Andrews extension done. Because of Nnamdi's uncertainty, you get the John Jenkins extension done on a team-friendly deal that can provide depth in the interior. Am I missing anyone?
That's a lot. That's a lot he's
Those
done.
were in season.
He did a lot during the season. Yeah.
We're not sitting here and making excuses for Eric. You just described yourself as ticked about the way that he handled last offseason from an offensive line standpoint and the lack of depth and competition there, particularly at guard. I would agree with you on that. But what we aren't going to do is forget about what was done in season and not include that in the evaluation pre-free agency when it comes to what he has and hasn't done.
Right.
And I think that's a fair way of putting it.
Yes. And if he continues not to do anything, once the first wave goes, then I will criticize him for it.
Jerry DeMonico is here with us. And Jerry writes, Ravens need a big-bodied receiver. Diggs doesn't fit the bill. Who's available via free agency or trade? Mike Evans.
I was going to say Mike Evans.
Jerry, here's the thing, though. I don't think they're going to let him leave Tampa. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a home. He is beloved in the Tampa area. Last year snapped an unbelievably historic Jerry Rice-esque streak of 1,000-yard or more receiving seasons. And it was because he wasn't available. So I don't think that's going to be that realistic, but he would be, he would not fit the bill of the trend because he's still playing at a high level, assuming that he can get back from that injury well, which he's expected to do in 26. Thanks, Jerry. Marcus Frazier's with us.
Says the Ravens are $20 million under the cap, while the Bills are over the cap by $9 million, but somehow Lamar contract is the problem. No, EDC is just not a good GM. If we're being honest, trade for a wide receiver to get it done. Who said that Lamar's contract is a problem? Is he talking to somebody else in the chat?
I don't know. Not sure.
When we talked about the difference in the contract as it stands on the cap hit, but I'm pretty sure I've said I feel really good about it getting done. Like it's going to go down big time. I've said I think the Ravens are in a complete fine position going into it with $20 million, and I think the Lamar contract is going to get done. So I don't know if he's talking to somebody else in the chat, but none of us has put any of this on Lamar.
That handles that. And then just one more comment I had on Jerry here as I think more and more about it. You know, Alec Pierce is someone that is getting a lot of attention this offseason. He's the Colts wide receiver. Albert Breer tweeted just within the last hour or so that the Bills had sniffed around both on A.J. Brown and Alec Pierce, but they ultimately settle with DJ Moore. Alec is someone that I think is compelling. He's 6'3". Dre Dog is with us.
He says there's a difference between being the Ravens number one and actually being a true number one wide receiver. I think from his last super chat, people are pushing back. I mean, Zay is a number one wide receiver. I get what Dre's saying. He's not like this all pro, I don't know, just this all pro that like strikes the fear of God into opponents. But he has to be dealt with. He's consistent. He's always there. He's often there for Lamar when things break down. I do. Again, maybe he's I don't know. Would you put him as a top 15 wide receiver, Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a number one wide receiver. So I hear what you're saying, Dre. I also think you might be downplaying Zay a little bit. That's all. I
see you play it with some New Zealand currency. Love that. As a fan of the Ravens from New Zealand and a hearty All Blacks fan. No way. That's great. Nick Gill is a huge signing, and I don't think you guys understand how huge he was to the best rugby team in the world for over 80% of his tenure. So this is a newest member of the Ravens training, medical, and conditioning staff. He comes over from the All Blacks in New Zealand, as I see a player notes here. And that's some good context from a Kiwi, right? Do you guys refer to yourselves as Kiwis? Or am I completely off there? Pretty sure you do, but that's great context. And that's got to be a cool full circle moment that when your favorite rugby team in the country that you're from or live in goes to your favorite American football team. That's pretty wild. Like, cool. Thanks for the context. Kobe's with us.
Wait, isn't Diggs most likely landing spot prison? Oh boy.
KP.
Let him a funny joke, but let him have his day in court.
KP.
We'll find out.
What did we say? Pre-trial hearing set for April 1st. Pleaded not guilty after being accused of choking his personal chef during an argument. We'll leave it at that. Dino Phil, DEI something. Not sure what the plan is here. The Ravens' quote, silence is deafening approach is torture for the fans, but the Ravens franchise formula is under lights right now. What's going on here? Under lights?
Meaning like it's under scrutiny, maybe? People are watching? Got our attention? Under the microscope, yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
Pop Punk Cowboys celebrating 10 months with us.
He says, been working third shift, so watching the show at night. Hope everyone in the vault has a wonderful day. Love you. God bless. And like the video. Yes, thank you. If you could, like the video. If you're on YouTube and watching.
The poll is approaching.
Third shift, by the way. That's brutal. Night shift.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hopefully we're keeping you upright and awake. Appreciate you being here. The poll is approaching 700 votes. And we asked you guys today, would you be open to signing Stefon Diggs in Baltimore? The number has not changed. Wow, look at that. Still, 69% of you say no, and 31% of you say yes. How about that? It's been probably 20-plus minutes since we checked in on that, and it's stayed right at that distribution. Chef Trez is with us.
Says Bateman is a diva and quits on his routes. Trade him and let a hungry dog in Tez eat. Devonta's, of course, he's talking about. And get Max. I'm tired of seeing the Ravens play it safe for years. I do want to see a big swing. Along the trenches.
Former fourth rounder, Sarah. Most of his career catches in a small volume, small sample size have gone for touchdowns. See if he gets a chance in Declan's offense. KP writes, the Vikings making sure everyone who needs defensive line help eats. Did we miss something?
Probably.
Let's see what happened. Because it's that time. It's that time of the year where if you don't refresh everything, you probably miss something. So what's happened with the Vikings? Is it Jonathan Allen that they're expected to be released? Is that the news there on top of Jonathan Grenard in terms of the trade, some of the trade smoke? Is that what you're referring to? Jonathan Allen? That's probably the latest. And then on top of that, Sarah, as we've discussed at length this week, they are open to trading, according to reports, their Pro Bowl edge rusher, Jonathan Grenard. That brings us to Dre Dog.
Sarah, I definitely want Lamar to have a great offensive line, but we've never seen him with the true number one great wide receiver. Yeah, I agree. I just think, again, you're downplaying Zay a little bit.
Work Boots says, at some point as a general manager, you have to be aggressive and just go for it. He made no big swings during Lamar's rookie deal. What's the insanity quote? Marlon once used that quote. Remember that very well during one of the defensive struggle seasons. Insanity is doing the
same thing over and over. Expecting a different result.
Yeah, I think we all know that one. Pete's back with us. What's up, Pete?
Says, if there's something I've learned in almost 2 decades of life, is to not worry about things out of my control. Let likely go. Got college to worry about.
That's my nephew right there. Yes, he is. The ripe age of 19. Kobe Pruitt says, if we keep it, where are you at on your emotional intelligence journey, Pete? Let us know with your next super chat. Just kidding. Just put in the live chat. You have student loans to pay. Kobe writes, if we keep Bateman, I don't feel like we'll make a push for an established wide receiver 1 or 2. If so, I'd like to trade back into the second to get KC Concepcion. Expected to be there as a round 2 wide receiver. Saw him on NFL Network this morning.
Oh, nice.
T Smooth is with us.
Says the Rams and Bills have had more postseason success in the last half decade than the Ravens. True. Lamar should have an elite playmaker outside of Zay.
Coop Man
Are we
says,
talking about the wide receiver position? Because he does have Derrick Henry.
I would think it'd be pass catcher, but he does have the king.
Probably
You're
needs
right.
pass catcher.
Who's the elite of elite. Coop Man writes, he is prideful and stuck in his ways. He needs to change and be more aggressive. We're trying to win a bowl, referring to DaCosta's efforts. KP's back with us.
Some say the EDC is hamstrung to make moves by the LJ deal. I disagree. Yeah. We've already, Steve Bisciotti already said that they would restructure if they needed to do it. They have two different ways they could do it: extend him or put more into the void years.
Don says it's Don, and yes, under scrutiny. It's Don, Bobby, and yes, under scrutiny, which goes back to his previous super chat. Yeah. Thank you. And look who's back, our nephew.
Last year was crap with people, so probably a 6. Sounds like he had some turmoil among some of his relationships, so he gives himself a 6 with emotional intelligence.
Well, he was talking about Isaiah Likely in his first super chat before he started evaluating his own, looking inward at his own emotional intelligence, as I requested. But because his first was about Isaiah Likely, let's get into what he talked about yesterday, Sarah, on Kay Adams' show.
Yeah, so we just pulled in the one clip kind of on the fly because he went on right before our show started, and we saw the one where Kay, just specifically asked, are you open to Ravens return? He says, the door is always open for Baltimore. That's family. A lot of people use that in their headlines, but I think it was misleading. I did have a chance to go back and listen to more of that interview. Not only did he go on to say business is business, but he also made a couple of other revelations, including how he's going to feel. Like she just straight up asked, because this is how Kay retweeted this, by the way, and put he gone, which we've been knowing for months at this point. Basically, ever since Mark Andrews has been extended, we've known that Isaiah is gone. And so when he's starting to talk about how it's going to hit him by not being with Lamar anymore, his mind is also gone from Baltimore.
How hard is it to leave Al?
I feel like it won't hit me until it hits me. That's one of those feelings. Even when I go back home, like to Massachusetts, and like the kids are asking me, like, how's Lamar? Like, how is it playing with Lamar? Because it's like he's a superhero to them. And to me, it's just like I could call L at any point in the day and just chop it up on the phone with him, make jokes, do whatever, and he'll answer. It's really just one of those feelings where it hasn't really hit me yet because technically I haven't left. I feel like L understands, where I'm at right now in, free agency talks and contract talks on, where it could go.
Is the door open to staying in Baltimore?
But the door is always open for Baltimore only because that's family. I mean, they took a chance on me with all 31 pass. And I tell them that to the fans, to the organization, to my teammates. But at the end of the day, I told everybody, every moment I get, like, business is business. I mean, it's just, I got to do right by me, right by my family, and right by, what I feel like I could do in this league. And I feel like, I've shown enough ability to be able to help out any quarterback, any situation, to be able to put points on the board. I mean, L loves me as a player. I think Bleacher Report had posted, like, Isaiah Likely will be, like, his next team will be, and then L tweeted out at Ravens, because that's my brother. I mean, he wants me side by side with him all the time because, like you said, like, we built a relationship and chemistry on the field that, was just getting started, I felt like. So, he'll always tell me, I got a place with him. But he understands that business is business, and he wants to honestly do right by me.
I mean, does Declan Doyle get hired and call you? Have you talked to him?
I've only talked to the position coach at the Ravens. I haven't talked to nobody else.
Well, that's not surprising. He turned down 2 offers. He's already saying his goodbyes to L. So you get a new coaching staff. Everybody's understood. You're moving on. No need to make that phone call.
Remember
no hard feelings either. Go get what you can get. No hard feelings.
Remember when I said we were in our second to last week of discussing this?
Yeah, you were wrong.
Bump.
And then when, a team signs him like the Chiefs or whatever, it's gonna come up again and people are gonna freak out all over again for sure.
Oh, wait a second though. When did I say that? Was it this week or last week?
I can't remember. It all just melts together for me.
I can't either. Of course I can't either. Why would I remember that? But yeah, I think the national level, Sarah, is just kind of picking up on, like especially when he goes on a platform like K's, they're just slightly behind on the party that we've known about for weeks now, if not months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched that in full, and like I was saying yesterday too when we were live, she was pretty funny with all the different teams that she was floating out to him, and he kind of was just smiling and nodding, keeping it business as usual.
So he didn't seem to tip his hand on any team?
He tried not to. So
yeah,
let's see here. We got a few more super chats, and by the way, I just bookmarked a little nugget for us. We might be shifting gears here at the moment. We may have gotten what you had hoped for pre-show. So I got something coming up along the AJ Brown front.
Baby.
In just a second. Shall we get caught up with super chats and I'll bring it up on the screen?
You sure?
All right, cool.
Okay. I assume you want me to read them while you go get that done.
No, I got it already. Let's.
Oh, you already got it.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got what we were hoping for and asking for in the pre-show, and I think it just came down. It's on AJ Brown. It's from a credible Philadelphia source, and we'll get to that in just a second. Don says, not extension. LJ8 creates void years, and that's a problem. No extension for Lamar creates void years, and that's a problem, which Steve spoke about at length last month.
That's a problem for the future, absolutely.
Yes, a problem for the future.
Yeah.
Fours World is celebrating 8 months of channel membership with us.
Ronnie Stanley signed his extension 2 days before the legal tampering period, and Nambi Madubuike signed his 3 days before, not giving hope on Lindy yet. That's kind of my point. You'd clip me if I was like bulldozing and criticizing Eric DaCosta for not making any moves, and then come Sunday or something, and then these deals are announced, and then it's like, what was the point of criticizing him? You gotta let the process play out, and then we'll look at it and decide if he deserves praise or criticism.
There was a very similar discourse this time last year, right around now, and a lot of a dark cloud over Ronnie's future in Baltimore.
Yeah,
and then everything changed, as Fours World's kind of making note of here, and you as well. Riley writes, I like Eric DaCosta for the most part, but if I remember correctly, Steve was saying he's not scared to move on from EDC on the low during the press conference. Riley, it was more like, yo, I'm not worried about him. What are you talking about?
He said he was going to leave him alone for a little while, was his quote. Come
on now, Riley. Now, your interpretation may have been like, that's the business side of like, hey, don't you get comfortable. But for if we're taking him at his word, that's literally the words that he chose to use that Sarah just mentioned. So anyway, appreciate you, Riley. And appreciate everybody for being with us on this Thursday. Femi will join the show tomorrow. You two will be solo for a portion of the program. I'm going to be in Vermont for a family wedding in Killington. So looking forward to hitting the slopes, getting some time in with family. Go ahead.
This is the quote. I think Eric is one of the best GMs in the league. What's his quote?
Okay.
He said, I think he's batting 800. I'm just making up a number for you. But I'm not going to look at Eric's 200 whiffs. I'm going to look at his 800 singles, doubles, and home runs. To me, that's fair. I'm very, very pleased with Eric.
Riley?
He said, I know that Eric has been very introspective about his failures and how they contributed to our dear friend being shown the door, John Harbaugh. And so nobody's harder on himself than Eric. So I think I can leave him alone for a while and focus on what we've got here with an empty chair, meaning the other head coach.
Riley?
So
thank you for bringing up the transcription.
Yeah.
Thanks to the super chat from Riley. Wills. Ooh, what's this? Wills with Thez? Wills with Ez? Canadian currency. Keep likely. Let Zay walk to Kansas City. Similar production, less money. Well, why do you want him to go to Kansas City?
That's not similar production, number one.
Why do you want to go to Kansas City? Yeah, and you're right, Sarah.
They has way more production than Isaiah Likely and availability. And Likely's gone. Let it go.
He gone. Unless he wants to sign a 1-year deal and leave a boatload of money on the table. Likely would be leaving money on the table. Oh my gosh. So
whoa.
This is the classic case of totally recognizing the profile photo, but when the handle changes, I forget your first name, and I want to say thank you. Sarah does too, because you just gifted a 20 spot, and it's officially off season because channel memberships typically start to take shape in the off season. In this case, 20 new channel Voltrons have become a thing this off season, thanks to XXTXTXTXX. What is your first name? Can you remind us? Thank you so much for this generous gift.
20. You said it was a 20 spot. That's a 100 spot for 20 gifted memberships. So we just got 20 new members. Wondering who got it. Who's the 20 new members? Yeah, very generous.
To your point, the monetary value is 3 figures. And in terms of channel memberships divvied up, it's what you see on the screen. So let us know if you just became a new channel member. Thanks to this generosity here, 20 new channel Voltrons. And literally a minute later, Olu decides that he's going to drop in a $20 super chat.
Yeah.
And Sarah, he writes,
we have to be smarter as a fan base. How many Super Bowl winners have a trash O-line and defensive line? And how can you get AJ? But if Lamar doesn't have time to throw, if he doesn't have time to throw, we will be in the same dang spot. Come on. Best O-line and or defensive line available, please. That's true. You can have AJ and so many other people. He's got to have time to throw, and they got to have lanes to run for sure.
Thank you,
Guys,
Olu.
There's might be 3 new offensive line spots.
Sherry
Miller, Milan. Sherry, though, I remember.
And
Sherry,
we both
Sherry.
knew this. We both knew this. We just sometimes need a reminder. And we appreciate you, Sherry, big time for that generous gift. And let us know if you're on the receiving end of said generosity. Okay. Olu just segued us nicely. Appreciate you guys for being with us on a Thursday. If you could like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. Femi will be joining the show tomorrow with you, Sarah. I am off to Vermont. That's what the programming consists of for the rest of this week. Here's what I was just teasing a moment ago. Jeff McLean is an Eagles reporter, longtime Eagles reporter at theinquirer.com. Big following for all things Eagles on Twitter. And he, as you can see here on the screen, just within the last hour or two, since the DJ Moore trade was finalized, reported the following. And this is on the AJ Brown discussion front. The Patriots and Ravens are the most likely potential partners, especially as I understand it, the Eagles inclined to only deal with AFC teams. Philadelphia, of course, is in the NFC. The Patriots, of course, just let and will let, as the new league year approaches next week, Stefon Diggs walk out of their building. And so now here we go. Jeff McLean, again, as you can see right here, you can follow him on X at Jeff_McLean. It's a legitimate account with credible Philadelphia perspective here. He says the Patriots and Ravens, Sarah, are in on the A.J. Brown sweepstakes.
Ooh. Well, some in the chat who want a big swing, this would constitute it. The Patriots, I think, are legit because of, I said earlier at the top of the show, the potential reunion between Vrabel and A.J. Brown. So I don't dismiss them. But for Jeff to say, to put the Ravens there with the Patriots, sometimes, Bobby, when there's a lot of smoke, there's fire. And this Ravens connected to A.J. Brown story, there has been smoke all over this since the Super Bowl. Because people were already talking about it kind of behind the scenes. We know Howie and EDC know each other extremely well. They've done many a deal together. And then it really burst onto the scene when Kay Adams had Derrick Henry on her show. And Derrick was his usual business self, very monotone, keeping a straight face, all that kind of stuff. And then suddenly she asked about AJ Brown, and his smile lit up, absolutely lit up. Oh, yeah, right there. And so there's a potential reunion there. And that would constitute a pretty big swing. Now, we've gone over the numbers before, Bobby. We know that Jeff has actually written a story on this. And he said that Howie was going to do what Howie always does and put out an astronomical number in terms of what he wants for draft compensation, which he's been feeding out to everybody. They've been leaking it out. It's a first and a second. He's not going to get that. Now, the recent going rate for productive veteran wide receivers, we have from DK Metcalf and I think Stefon Diggs when he was traded from the Bills. They both went for second rounders. That's been more the going rate. You can't just make up first and second round if the market has been saying a second rounder. And I have proposed that you would add Bateman to that. So if you add Bateman to that, does that take the draft compensation down closer to a third round? And if you're talking about that, I can get on board with that because you still got resources you still have a shot for Venga if he falls to 14. And the Philadelphia Eagles would eat something like $45 million in dead money. Spot Rack, we had it up a couple days ago of what the new team would pick up. The numbers are tenable. That being said, if you're going to make a trade, knowing the Ravens, they'd probably just make a new deal with AJ Brown and set it up the way they want. So if Howie's unrealistic first and second rounder is there, forget about it. But if we're talking about what pass wide receivers have gotten, a second rounder, I could give up that. But if you're going to add Bateman, it seems like it should be lower. Like number 45 might be a little too high. Or maybe you swap second rounders and you get a third rounder and you get a Bateman. Maybe something like that. I could see that. But not a first and second rounder. The second, maybe a little less with Bateman. I'm here for it. And I think that's realistic. I think the cap numbers are realistic. And I think that draft compensation is realistic. And you can still build the trenches.
If the player like Bateman is out of it, so take him out of the deal for a second.
Okay.
Does today's news that we began the show with, does that actually give Howie leverage in what he's asking for?
Okay, that's a good question. Remind me
because aren't you going to take AJ over DJ every day of the week and twice on Sunday? And I think why I'm asking this question is because in part of what I just read from Ben Solak, who wrote, if it's DJ Moore for a second, which is what you're noting.
That's what I just said.
In a sense, that's what you're getting at here. If it's DJ Moore for a second, then it's AJ Brown for a first and then some.
No,
that's what but I think
know.
Why though? Why?
I know Benjamin Solak is saying that, but like.
But take the player out of it for a second. Take the Bateman out of the exercise.
Yeah, take Bateman out. Let's say, let's take Bateman out. Why is it that for DK Metcalf, Stefon Diggs, and DJ Moore, they're all a second, but AJ Brown is more? Is AJ that much more productive? And again, I know DJ Moore's coming off a down year, but Stefon Diggs wasn't.
What was Diggs coming off of? I can't remember.
Let me look it up.
Yeah. Just
wait. We have it in our slides somewhere. Hold on a second here. I have his numbers right here. His last year in Buffalo, he had 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. 107
well, we're going off of 24 though, right?
Was he not traded to Houston, or was he traded from Houston to New England?
Oh, we're going back to, let me see here. We're obviously doing some of this stuff on the fly here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it was let's see here. He was traded in April of 24. The Texans acquired him. What was the compensation? Houston received Diggs, a 2024 sixth, a 2025 fifth in exchange for a second.
Right. So he was coming off an 1,100, almost 1,200 yard season because Houston acquired him. They didn't trade him away.
Correct.
So is AJ Brown's numbers way better than that?
That's what I'm pulling up now. As we do all this in real time. This is fun, though. This is fun.
This is a lot of fun.
This is part of the calculation. So for AJ's posted 4 consecutive 1,000 yards or more receiving seasons.
And so did Stefon Diggs, even more than that.
Okay. In all but 1 year, he's had north of 1,000, which you got to go back to 21. He only played in 13 games, though. This past season in Philadelphia, which was a struggle for them offensively, he had 1,003, 78 receptions, 121 targets, 12.9 per, and 7 touchdowns.
Right. And he had Stefon Diggs' numbers were actually a bit better. He had more, other than that 11 touchdown season. Stefon Diggs had 8, 11, 10, 8 touchdowns with 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
But let's go into just so we're, again, I'm gathering where they're at in their careers.
Yeah.
Stefon is 32, soon to be 33, as we noted earlier.
How old was he when he was traded? That's the question. So he was 29 or 30?
It was in Houston. I said, so can you go back to that slide that had, yeah, you have it up here. Sorry, I have like 10 tabs open right now as I'm trying to get all this processed.
So he's 30. If he's 32 now.
Stefon was 30.
So he was 30. And how old is AJ?
2 years younger.
Okay, that's fair.
He's 28. I mean, is it as simple as AJ is an overwhelming force of nature? Stefon is still productive. He plays a different game than AJ does.
Yes, they have different games, but at the end of the day, we're talking about it's kind of like when we talk about quarterback deals or center deals or whatever. If you're in like the top 8, top 5, maybe, you're going to get the next highest contract. So yeah, we can get into these details of who's better, but the market has been speaking for years. It's been second-round picks for the Stefon Diggs, DK Metcalfs, DJ Moore of the world. That's what the market has been saying. So could they squeeze a little bit more? Again, I don't know where in the second round these guys were falling. And that's why in the later rounds you have these swap picks to kind of make up for it. But the market has spoken.
The market has. Howie in the past, though, has overwhelmed the market just the way that AJ overwhelms his opponent. I just wonder.
Well, I mean, if they get into a bidding war, then maybe the Patriots. But again, the Ravens have a nice carrot with, we can bring Bateman back into it.
They do.
You are going to get an extremely nice deal on the cap with Bateman, and you might feel like, hey, we can revive his career. He they almost traded him last year to Dallas. You bring him back in. So at most, could you argue, okay, a second and Bateman?
A second and Bateman for Brown. Could get behind that. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering what is happening right now, we just a short while ago found a report from Jeff McClain of the Inquirer, Philadelphia reporter, and I'll just embolden what it is that he's reporting. and that is that the Patriots and Ravens are the most likely potential partners, meaning in the A.J. Brown sweepstakes,
Mm-hmm.
and that the Eagles, according to his reports and conversations, are only inclined to deal with AFC teams. They do not want to, understandably, trade A.J. Brown in conference. And the Patriots are losing Stefon Diggs, which is where we began all of this with.
Which made everybody wonder when they traded Stefon. Are they doing this as like a sign that they're going to go get AJ?
Maybe.
But this is more than what you just had up on the screen. This is more than like, hey, Bleacher Report names Stefon Diggs the top landing spot for the Ravens. This is a daily beat reporter of the Philadelphia Eagles who's saying, as I understand it, AKA my sources are telling me. Okay, so this is a report, not a, hey, let's have fun matching teams. Hey. And I will say this, AJ Brown has to be behind a lot of this because there wasn't a great relationship between him and his quarterback. And he's got connections to both the Ravens and Patriots with Vrabel and Derrick Henry. So I'm sure he's gone to the Eagles and be like, yo, I want out. Because this is not helping the Eagles. They're creating a massive hole. He's a great wide receiver. They're going to eat $45 million in dead money. This doesn't help them. So to me, this screams AJ Brown is pushing this, and he's pushing it to two teams that he's like, hey, I'd be cool with either one of those teams.
The more I process what you floated, Bateman in the second for him.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't take that.
That's a fair deal on both ends.
I don't know how you don't take it.
And I think you might want to swap a little bit because it's 45, number 14 in the second round. But, they do those swaps in the back end. I guess most people don't even pay attention to that.
That.
And if you still have a chance to get my Venga, now we're talking.
That is categorized as pre-free agency buzz. It should make for a very, very interesting weekend. But as of right now, it sure seems like the Patriots and Ravens, according to Jeff McClain, are in on, is it initially? Is it more than initially? Is it on the ground floor? Is it in the advanced stages? We don't know. But they are in on the A.J. Brown sweepstakes. And that should make for a fun couple days. Shall we get some more super chats in here?
Let's see if it happens. People are going to be refreshing all weekend long. Because remember, Jeff McClain last week also said he came out with this report that I just talked about with all those numbers. I want to say Friday of last week, and he said they have 10 days to get it done. And now we've got the rest of today, Saturday, and Sunday. So 2.5 days. We should know what's going to happen with AJ Brown.
Here we go. Joe Jenkins says void years for number 8 equals paying off a max credit card with minimum payments, prolonged debt.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good analogy. And look who's here throwing more super chats around. He'll be joining the show tomorrow for you, Fem.
Absolutely. Fem says Zay is not 6'2" or 215, but he is a dog. There are 32 teams. How many number ones are there? He is absolutely a number one and top 15 wide receiver, 8th in catches, 9th in yards over last 2 seasons combined. Massive news coming. Watch. Dang, Femi, what are you going to tease us like that?
He's ready to go tomorrow. I get this.
Are you talking about massive news with Zay? AJ? We were just he sent the super chat before AJ, right?
Well, he's also been pretty vocal in the live chat in recent days about Lamar too.
He has said that he felt good about Lamar, right?
I'll just throw that out there. So brace yourself for what
he put massive. Massive is more than like say Zay, right? Like massive is more Lamar level. Femi, I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow, Femi.
I'll let him define that
teasing
tomorrow.
Us all over the place.
I'm sure you will force him to define that tomorrow. Should be fun. Trey.
I'll have follow-up after follow-up if he keeps trying to dodge my questions on it.
Should be a fun Friday. Look forward to
it. He says massive news is not Zay.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you, Fem. Now I feel like I want to be a part of this tomorrow. That's a problem.
Sorry,
I'm going to be in a outdoor ceremony in Killington, Vermont with multiple socks on, all kinds of layers, an outdoor ceremony in Vermont in March. That's what's happening. Trey says, hey, Bobby, busy week ahead of us.
Butt off.
Heard some extra things. I had a chance to meet Trey in person. Remember, he's from Columbus, so he drove to Indianapolis at the end of last week.
You met him there last week?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Forgot to tell you that.
Yeah, you did forget that. Real good. But I remember him saying he was going to go down there, and you're like, oh, hit me up.
Yeah, he's a great dude. We ended up meeting up just for a few minutes. I was staring at a 5 a.m. alarm clock. He says, hey, Bobby, busy week ahead of us. Heard some extra things at the cigar lounge after you left. Are you interested? AJ, Mike Evans, or Marvin Harrison Jr.? Well, just based on what we've been chatting. Well, first of all, you're gonna divulge what you heard. 2, just based on the AJ Brown discussions that we've been having the last few minutes. I think it probably starts and ends there, Sarah, given the Ravens' reported interest in him. Great seeing you, Trey. Alessiana has become our newest channel member. So welcome to VAULTRON status, Alessiana. Is it Alessiana or Alessiana? But thank you. And that brings us to MDaddy006.
He says, I like AJ Brown, but I just can't with the antics, crying, and pouting. What happens when the Ravens are winning and AJ doesn't get a lot of targets? No thanks. Man, I am not discrediting a wide receiver because he wants targets. I just can't do it. A wide receiver like AJ Brown on the other side of Zay Flowers for Lamar Jackson. And if you can do the deal that we just described and you can still build the trenches, guys, I do not discredit receivers because they want the ball. I can't do it. And I just don't. I could be wrong, but I just don't see wide receivers pouting to Lamar.
I have a hard time with this one because fundamentally I agree with you. That's what you want the MO of your receiver to be. AJ took it to new levels in Philadelphia and was a part of that dysfunction there.
Yeah.
There was some serious dysfunction there, even when they were winning. And which is, I think, M. Daddy's point here. Now, to your point, we've seen it in the past. Much maligned targets and players have shown up to Baltimore, not named Deontay Johnson, and it hasn't been a problem. And a lot of that has to do with the way that Lamar commands this offense and has the locker room in
and commands respect.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But Bobby, so I know that you're with M. Daddy on this because you've expressed it before. So I think this answer is telling because of how much you don't like it. Even though you don't like it, would you take him for a second in Bateman?
Well, that's why earlier on I didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, see,
I didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't even bring it up because I was solely looking at it from the business side, knowing that he is going to make them better.
Yeah.
This is what sometimes comes with that, though, and that's just something that you have to live with. Maybe it won't come to Baltimore. I don't know.
Well, and by the way, not to remove him from it, but the dysfunction in Philly is not AJ Brown alone. Their coach is something different.
Absolutely. Sirianni,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sirianni is far from a saint. Femi just said that in the chat, which is funny. I would agree with that. And it sure seems like Jalen is not the easiest person to work with. So yeah, I think all that is a given. And it's certainly not a one-trick pony show in terms of the blame game here.
And I don't know. Do you know his history in Tennessee?
Yeah, antics, but not enough to.
Right.
I don't think it reached the level of. And here's the thing too: Philadelphia's a little bit of a different media market than Nashville is. I think we both know that. So, but yeah, to be clear, there's a reason why I didn't bring up any of this when we were talking the business side of the trade, because that's a no-brainer every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Thanks to M Daddy for bringing that up. Stono 31's become a new channel member. So welcome to VAULTRON status, Stono. Appreciate you being here. Man, they're just pouring in today, boys.
Yeah,
we are north of 50 super chats and counting. We've gotten gifts.
Moly.
The offseason is on. We appreciate you guys coming out in full force on this Thursday. Joe wants to check the Vault email. It concerns Ravens via Newsweek.
Okay. We'll look into that for tomorrow's show.
Okay.
Okay.
The title is interesting, though. He says, check this out about Teddy Bridgewater being tied to the Ravens. I would guess that is a primary backup tie-in potentially if they want to move on from Tyler Huntley, Sarah. So that's interesting. Eli Sports says AJ Wright was right about Philly, though. Okay. There's a level of that's kind of what we were discussing a minute ago,
Right.
Sarah, that there is a level of dysfunction that's outside of him.
Right. Whereas with a guy like Deontay Johnson, it just every single team he went to. And so you knew it began and ended with Deontay Johnson. With AJ, again, if somebody can let me know if there was something in Tennessee, because the Eagles are a mess in several different areas.
Think about it. The team that won 2 years ago were and this past year were the reigning champions. We're just in a state of disarray. Clinton says Marvin Harrison Jr. for Bateman, a third this year and conditional fourth next year. That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
MHJ?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh.
Clinton's making a pitch for him in Arizona. Okay. Nightmare Kilo says every receiver wants the ball. This isn't Little League. You aren't going to win a chip just off the power of friendship alone.
Yeah. I want somebody who is in the AFC Championship game and a play breaks down, Lamar scrambling, and holy crap, look at that wide, big-bodied, huge radius, A.J. Brown getting ready to fight for the ball.
He's going to fight all right. Whew. Sarah, do you want to push Keaton to tomorrow for you and Fem?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Elsewhere,
Easton, what was his first name? What was his last name? Easton.
I don't know. He was let me look him up.
I just looked him up earlier. Easton Butler. Butler, who is an online personality for the Packers, a writer, a Twitch streamer, reporting that the Colts and Ravens are expected to be interested in pending free agent Trey Hendrickson. Look, I don't know what Easton's background is, Sarah, in terms of the reporting game, but worthy of a quick hit just because of some of the uncertainty.
Yeah, and just to the chat, all due respect, I love Likely, but Likely is not A.J. Brown.
No. He hopes to be wherever he ends up next.
Listen, I love his potential. I wanted the Ravens to sign him. I was banging the table for it. It's over. He's not here anymore. How long did I pound the table for Likely, Bobby? For months and months and months and months. But I got to let it go.
Yeah.
And again, that is the tight end position. This is an X wide receiver. Okay, this was funny. Did you see this?
Briefly.
I didn't even look too deeply into it. It more is just funny that Florio's talking about in an article about why there's I don't know, there was some weirdness around Carnell Tate's official 40-yard dash at the combine. And I guess within the article, he claimed that Adam Schefter probably just copied and posted from Rosenbaum. And so Schefter saw it and he tweets to Mike Florio's Mike Pro Football Talk. And he says, just to prove you were wrong again. And then puts out a bunch of screen grabs of different text messages where he reached out to a bunch of people to get the official time. And this isn't the only tweet. Then he put another tweet in where he had another 4 screenshots. So Adam Schefter checked with 8 different sources to make sure he got the right time. And Mike in the article had claimed that he probably just copied and pasted it. So he's like, no, you're wrong again. So he got community noted. Mike Florio did with his speculation. I bet Ravens fans love that. You know what I mean?
No love lost between the two.
No.
Which dates back to past social media back and forth between them. So yeah. Adam likes that. Adam's he's got a level of troll in him. I was sitting with Aaron Wilson, who I know you overlapped with during his time in Baltimore at the Sun.
Yeah.
And Aaron's now in Houston in that market, longtime reporter. Aaron, Jake Asman, and I were sitting in a steakhouse in the JW Marriott in downtown Indy. And Schefter is sitting at a table at this steakhouse about 20 feet away from us. And he's got a whole group of guys with him, like a legendary table, like Rich Eisen, Schefter, an NFL GM, some other people. And we're sitting there, and it's like a dark steakhouse. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's him over there, but you just like, you know how it is. So you just keep everybody and give them their privacy. Well, he finishes dinner before we do, and he starts walking down to go past our table to exit the restaurant. And he and Aaron must have a past relationship somehow, just within the community of reporting. He walks over and just stares, mean mugs Aaron. It doesn't say anything. It's just looking at him, just straight-faced, and then keeps walking. But the entire time walking, does not move his head on a swivel with eye contact, direct eye contact on Aaron. And then he walks out, and I'm like, Aaron, what was that? He goes, I don't know. We've been boys forever. I'm like, it's just like, it's the classic, like, Schefter's got this personality of trolling. He's got a little bit of trolling in him.
Yeah, he's got a little troll in him.
So
That's funny you saw that.
Yeah, it's funny. At first, I thought he was looking at me. I'm like,
You're
I tweeted the Matabike scoop earlier.
Yeah.
Is that me? Why are you looking at me, Shefty? But hey, have a great show tomorrow. Appreciate you. And special thanks to Femi in advance for dropping by the program.
Have fun in Vermont in the cold outdoors.
Thank you.
At the
Thank
wedding.
you. I want to spend this afternoon definitely making some serious considerations on whether or not I want to pack up all of this given the news cycle.
Oh.
So stay tuned on that. But I am not planning. I have a flight. I have the first flight out of Albany direct to Tampa on Monday morning to be back in this chair at this command center for the first day of unofficial free agency, Sarah, by 10 a.m. on Monday.
Oof.
So let's see what happens. And you and I are in for a treat, I'm sure, the first couple of days.
Yeah. Maybe a treat before them if they win out on this AJ Brown sweepstakes. But again, I think Patriots are super logical too. So this isn't a given.
That's problematic.
Yeah.
If they went out for my schedule. It's not problematic for the team.
Yes.
And the fan base will not be viewing that as a problem unless he brings his antics with him from Philadelphia to Baltimore. Which there is no indication that would happen. Okay, cousin tomorrow. Yes, it's just my cousin's wedding live chat. Everybody's freaking out about a shotgun marriage. That's not the case.
What do you call people from Vermont? Are they Vermontians? Like,
don't know.
I was about to say that they're built different with this wedding.
So my cousins are from, it's my cousin Aaron who's getting married, and she's originally from Connecticut.
Vermonters are built different, having a wedding out in the cold like this.
Well, it's funny. She's not, though. She's not a Vermonter.
Oh, well, okay.
Like, she's originally from Madison, Connecticut, which is a beach town.
Huh.
Before she went to Loyola, 3 of the 4 of us, as you know, went to Loyola. She started that journey for us as a family. And she's a teacher in the local Connecticut area. And she and her fiance Jesse are going to tie the knot tomorrow night in Vermont. So
awesome.
That's what we'll do as a family. Looking forward to that. And I know you got a lot going on as well. So have a great Friday show. Hope you all enjoy this pre-free agency buzz. I'll be on the lookout for a 4:00 drop as always in repurposed fashion on our best of section. So if you could on the way out, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thanks to all of you who participated today. I mean, even at this current moment, we're just south of 3,000 concurrents. And Sherry, certainly for donating the big kahuna of a 20 VAULTRON channel gift, which is over $100 in monetary value. So we really appreciate that, Sherry. And thanks to everyone who participated today, whether it was just simply tuning in, which does not go unnoticed, live chatting, super chatting, all that good stuff. For Sarah, I'm Bobby signing off from this Thursday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. Sarah and Femi will be back tomorrow with you here inside the vault. And as always, Vaultrons, we appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Sarah will see you tomorrow, and I'll see you on Monday, if not before.